Spartans, prepare for glory!
Mic check, 1, 2, 3.
Damn!
Fatality.
Come on.
You must be out of your goddamn mind.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?
Spartans, what is your profession?
All right, appreciate everybody for tuning in. The name is Law Nation. As we continue to talk about this and grind, you guys know what's on my mind. The Dallas Cowboys offseason is always what it is. It never changed. The expectation is always high. And granted, hear me out. Always there's a thing called comparison. I said this before, write this down, Cowboy Nation. Comparison, the robber, the thief of all joys. And when we start to talk about context, some people like to leave things out, but they like to express that they're not. And the reality is now that when Law brings out the context, I'm going to back it up with actual data, with actual facts and not opinions. Now, this is what we're going to do. We're going to talk about this. And granted, shout out to the Eagles. There's no shade, no hate upon them for last season. They did everything they supposed to do. That is what you absolutely supposed to do as an organization franchise, to put weapons around said quarterback, to help your defense out too by going out there making proper acquisitions and things like that. So there's no discount of feelings to them of doing those things, right? But when you start to look at everything, you will say to yourself, yes, one particular owner said, you know what? Their team went 9-8 the previous year. Let's not take weapons away. Let's add more weapons to it. And those are the realities. I haven't found a person that's living and breathing that can out-debate me on that particular topic. Did the Cowboys took away from Dak Prescott and said, go out there and make it happen? And did the Eagles add to Jalen Hurts and said, okay, let's see what we got out of him. Let's see what he can bring to the table. Now, granted, what this will also, with the data that I got, will present this right here to y'all beautiful people. That Law Nation is spitting nothing but the truth. And the facts are the facts. And there's nobody that can take that away. Nobody. And we're going to bring this up, so pull up your chair and everything, and we're going to go by this line by line, precept upon precept with these things, which is the truth. And that is the reality of it, Cowboy Nation. So with that being said, the first and foremost thing that I want to do is bring up the first 3 seasons of this dude by the name of Jalen Hurts versus, dare I say, Rain Dakota Prescott. And by the way, to anybody to say that Jalen Hurts is trash and he suck, you can leave, right? Because that's not even the angle here, right? But these are the facts right here. As we look it up, you may have to zoom in with your natural eyes. These are the first 3 seasons that Dak Prescott exhibit, as well as Jalen Hurts. Now, what they classify of who winning in these particular arenas are those that are highlighted in darker color. You know, that is bold, right? So if you guys can see, when I bring up this is not me arguing off of opinions, but true facts to the matter. Matter of fact, if you listen to me, you might learn something. All right? Dak Prescott played 48 games, juxtaposed to Jalen Hurts playing 45. All right? On top of that, the average QB record in this time frame for Dak Prescott, 32-16. For Jalen Hurts, he's 23-11. Completion percentage. I want to ask you guys that's in the chat, that's watching, that's listening to Dak Prescott stats right here. Let me know which number do you foresee is better. Completion percentage in the first 3 years, 66.1 juxtaposed to 62.3. Let me know that those that's watching and listening right now, is 66 better or worse than the 62? I need to know. I want to know. I got to know. Can somebody pull that up? Can somebody let me know? All right. So is 66 is better? Okay, yeah. All right. Passing yards in the first 3 seasons. One played, like I said, 48 games. The other guy played 45 games. One pass for 10,000 yards. The other pass for 7,000 yards. Close to 8,000. I want to know, is 10,000 yards more or less than 7,900 yards? I need to know. I want to know. I got to know. Okay, and this, keep in mind, this is the first 3 years. All right, and then the average yards per pass, 7.4 to 7.6. Jalen Hurts won in that category. But down from there, in every passing category, yards per game, 22.6, 226 yards basically, 175 for Jalen Hurts. Oh, touchdowns, 67 for Dak Prescott in the first 3 years, 44 for Jalen Hurts. Interceptions, Dak Prescott throwing more interceptions in the first 3 years, 25-19. Okay, all right, and passer rating, 96.0. For Jalen Hurts, shout out to him in his first 3 years, 92.2. But what's declaring that Jalen Hurts is better than Dak Prescott in the first 3 years in his natural career is what you see at the bottom total. Rushing attempts, let me know, is 367 rushing attempts is far superior than 189. I need to know. I want to know. I want to know. Is 367 rushing attempts? That's a lot of attempts. Is it better? Oh, yeah. All right, let's go. Let's go. We going on with this, okay? With that being said, I will declare right now, if you said that Jalen Hurts is better than doggone Dak Prescott, I would say yes, according to these stats that I'm reading. And it's quite funny to me because I'm really good at stats. I'm so good at stats, I'm getting paid. I ain't going to tell you how much it is, but it's got 6 figures at the end of it just by me reading these stats. And I'm not here reaching and trying to teach you guys false stuff, but I'm showing you and I'm reading it right now with my degree in business administration, concentration, econ. I know for sure, when I look at these stats, one thing I know for sure, and I can contextualize the fact that when I'm reading this, that for sure Jalen Hurts is a far superior running of a quarterback than Dak Prescott. There's no one that can out-debate me on that one. Yes, indeed. Yes, he can run a whole lot better than Dak Prescott. He's more elusive than Dak Prescott. If you want a cookie for that, then you can have it. Matter of fact, you can share it. You know what I mean? So with that being said, for context, my brother from another mother, you know, I always say this. I hear things left and right. And the only reason why I decided to do this video, because I got probably just the amount of Eagles fans that's watching and following the nation, just as if I have Cowboys fans, believe it or not. And when I'm talking about just staying in my lane and minding my own business, I get called upon from the Eagles community. But let's listen for context, because people don't want to hear all of the things, but let's hear some of the things from my brother from another mother, Lord Brunson. Let's listen in to what he had to say. All right, here we go right here. Let's go ahead and hit that play button over here, because these are the things that's been talked about in these streets out here.
They said this about these guys. While Lane and Kelsey was on the roster, and Jason Peters, the Cowboys' offensive line was still held in a regard as being better than the Philadelphia Eagles' offensive line. They talked about these things. These guys have had stacked rosters. When the NFC East was being called the NFC lease, the Cowboys already had their quarterback in place. You got to think about the teams in the division that had the multitude of quarterback changes. Think about that. That's something that Cowboys content creators and fans don't take into effect when they blurt out 8-3. We run a division. Let's get to that real fast. Y'all run the NFC East, right?
Before he go into that conversation, the pool, let me say this right quick. In 2016, I've been doing this for a long time. You know what I'm saying? And as old as I am, I got a chance to understand that a lot of people like to get in front of things, but let me get in front of it before he say it. I couldn't find an Eagle fan in 2016 to say that their Eagles team wasn't better than the Cowboys. I couldn't find an Eagles fan in 2017. Granted, they won a Super Bowl in 17, right? I couldn't find out one Eagle fan to announce that their team is less superior than the Cowboys. Oh, let me go a little bit further. In 2018, I couldn't find out one Eagle fan to say, you know what? We're not better than the Cowboys. Oh, by the way, in 2019, y'all see what I'm saying? So, nah, you guys always said that y'all been loaded with talent. Y'all got the best wide receiver. Y'all got the best coach. Y'all got the best quarterback. Y'all got the best running back. Let me know where I'm lying. And I will hush. I would flat out hush. The same conversational pool that we are hearing now with Jalen Hurts was the same type of tenacity and energy that all Eagles fans had towards Carson Wentz when he was with the doggone midnight green and white over there. No lies detected. Y'all think that they gave me this plaque for no reason? They gave me this plaque because I spit the truth. King Kong ain't got nothing on law. When I'm spitting the truth, I'm spitting at y'all. You know? I can't make this stuff up. Come on, baby. Come on.
Because y'all 8-3 against the Eagles. I think you're 7-2 against the Giants. And you're like 9-1 against the Commanders. So y'all run the NFC East, right? But there hasn't been a repeat winner in the division since 2005 when I was in high school. So how can you run something that you haven't won back-to-back? Jalen Hurts is going to be the first quarterback since Donovan McNabb to do that, by the way. So how you telling us you run it when you don't really run it? It don't make sense to me. That's cap number one. You know what I mean? Let's be logical. Hasn't been a repeat winner in 16 years, but you run it. Let's be logical. The second narrative that's being painted by Cowboys content creators and Cowboys fans is that Jalen Hurts' MVP season that just passed, Dak Prescott's rookie season, is very comparable to it, if not better.
Best quarterback. So he's the second best quarterback?
Law Nation heard me.
He said he was joking.
I was joking.
Oh, okay. I didn't hear that part.
But truly, I believe he's the second best behind Jalen Hurts. Yes.
Why Jalen Hurts?
It's a shame that when family members argue in the street, you got neighbors watching. It's a shame that we fight a third of our own fan base, right? We fight our own, and then we have to go back and fight the Eagles fans that's picking up what we're talking about, right? This is supposed to be an in-house type of conversation, but by it being on social media, everybody want to poke holes at it, and it's a shame. It's a flat-out shame that I got to come out here and showcase and provide the stats, the numbers, And on top of that, with the truth, shall it set you guys free when you're listening to law? Here's what I'm saying, ladies and gentlemen. I heard out there, in order to be the best, you got to beat the best. I heard that, right? We used to say that all the time. We used to talk about that all the time. Like, when playing basketball growing up, hey, if I'm saying that I'm the coldest three-point shooter out there, then shoot, I got to go out there and play and prove it against those who out there been shining. Now, granted, there have been others who won state championships and beyond, right? But still, if I'm saying that I'm the best, shoot, we're going to have to go play some backyard basketball or football, track, lace them up. I just can't go off of name alone and say, yeah, I'm the best because I say I am. Everyone have a reason, but results are what matter. And last I checked, when I look at the first, and shout out to my guy, Brandon, appreciate him. But these are the nonsense that he speak upon, and I'm not trying to throw any shade at you, my brother. But now you get the chance to say, when we having a friendly debate, the enemy is watching. The neighbors are watching. They may not come out because I had the link out there for them to jump in. But they open the blinds to see what we talking about, and they take it and they run it and they talk to their people about it, right? But with the truth, like I said, when I look at these stats and I see these things, I'm looking at pure passing situations. Dak Prescott is in front of Jalen Hurts, right? Not behind him. But you yourself, Brandon, said that doggone Jalen Hurts is better than Dak Prescott. Now, I should see if he's better. I should see the correlations. I should contextualize it and see the blackness all on his side. But I see the blackness on Dak Prescott's side. Oh, by the way, here's what I also look at, and here's what I also see when I pull up the career stats. You know, this is the career stats. If you zoom all the way in, this is Dak Prescott total body of work. And when we start talking about total body of work, it looks very good for my case. If I was a lawyer over here and I'm stating my case, I'm looking at it from a contextualizations. Head-to-head matchup, they do count that as a stat line. Even the head-to-head matchup, 1, Dak Prescott, Jalen Hurts, 0. All right, and I'm looking at everything else down the line. 97.8 passer rating, 65 interception. That's the bad stat for Dak Prescott. Yeah, but passing touchdowns, 166. Now, granted, this is not a fair comparison. It's not. It's very much so not a fair comparison. Why? Because Dak Prescott did play a lot of more years than this dude by the name of Jalen Hurts. But when you start to look at the numbers, I'm still seeing everything 66.6. Oh, completion percentage better. Every single passing category, Dak Prescott is better than Jalen Hurts. Now, granted, I'm not taking away from Jalen Hurts. What I'm saying is Jalen Hurts, he had his great year. He had his knight in shining armor, 2022, took his team to the Super Bowl. I don't want to hear people say, well, he made it to the Super Bowl. Rex Grossman made it to the Super Bowl. That doesn't mean that he's better than Phillip Rivers. That doesn't mean that he's better than, Donovan McNabb. They both made it to the Super Bowl. Oh, Rex Grossman. That doesn't mean that he's better than Tony Romo. So we can go back and forth of talking about, hey, this guy made it to the Super Bowl, this guy didn't. But when you pull out every stat, line by line, I'm seeing that my quarterback is in all black. You might have to zoom in to see the stat line, but you guys get me what I'm saying. And these stats will be on my Twitter after this video. But let's listen to more of my dog, Lord Brunson. I really appreciate the brother,
Why Jalen Hurts? I think Jalen Hurts is everything that Dak. I think Jalen Hurts is everything Law would want Dak to be. Jalen Hurts is an actual.
His rookie year. Dak's rookie year is Jalen's number.
Yeah, Dak rookie year is his best year. Best behind Jalen Hurts.
Rewind
Yeah.
one more time.
Why Jalen Hurts? Why Jalen Hurts?
I think Jalen Hurts is everything that Dak. I think Jalen Hurts is everything Law would want Dak to be. Jalen Hurts is an actual.
His rookie year. Dak's rookie year is Jalen's number.
Yeah, Dak rookie year is his best year.
It's the same numbers according to these guys. The same numbers. And I'm here to tell you that is malarkey. Yes, if you look at the passing stats, the passing numbers are the same. Dak Prescott, had those passing yards pretty much and those touchdowns that Jalen Hurts had. But it's just convenient that you would leave out 730 rushing yards and 13 rushing touchdowns? I mean, if we're going to talk football, let's talk all of it.
All right, so let's talk all of it. What if I told you guys that Jim Kelly, John Elway, Dan Marino, all of those boys in 89, 90, 91, all of their stat lines far superior than Troy Aikman? What if I told you that Jim Kelly nearly doubled the amount of touchdowns that Troy Aikman can ever think about throwing? But what if I tell you that those two comparisons and of analysis, if you add context to it, don't mean a hill of beans? What if I told you that if I look at it and I say that, well, since Jim Kelly went to 4 Super Bowls and Troy only got 3 Super Bowls and 3 rings, but by Jim Kelly being to 4, he's a better quarterback. Hey, look at the stat. Look at the numbers. You can't do that, ladies and gentlemen. This is an ultimate team sport. This is an ultimate situation, whereas I would look at it and I would say if we started to marginalize it is, okay, whatever Dak Prescott do juxtaposed to what Jalen Hurts did, then it should be lopsided. Because we can add into the context for the last 27 years. What if I told you guys in the last 27 years that 6 of those years we only had a real head coach in those last 27 years? 6 of those years. Let me repeat, 6 of those years. That's only 22% if my memory and my math serve me correct. Parcells with 4, and basically, this is my guy, technically. This is Mike McCarthy's first year, but I digress. He's been here going on to his 4th season. So when you start to look at it and you will say to yourself, all right, cool. Law, nah, that's 8. That's 8, but we got to look at it from this right here. 3 years basically with my guy, Bill Parcells, because the very first year, 5-11, 5-11, 5-11 with Dave Campo, here he is scraping out. Remember, I'm adding the context for those who are out there listening, right? So check my math. It's a total of 6 years between Mike McCarthy and Bill Parcells, because the first year you really can't even count that for Bill Parcells because we are coming off of a 5-11, 5-11, 5-11 situation. But what people would love to do is that they will literally say, oh, man, it's been 27 years, Law. Oh, man, it's been 27. 13 of those years we had a Jason Garrett system. That guy had no reasons of being anywhere in a Cowboys sideline coaching anywhere. Oh, well, you can throw in Wade Phillips or what have you all you want, but we all know that this was pretty much Jason Garrett-led system and scheme. So, with that being said, I'm not taking away from what the Eagles done in all of those 27 years because history started technically in the year 2000 for them. I'm not taking that away from them. They should have more Super Bowl rings. They literally, if you do the math correctly, they went to the playoff. They won the playoff 16 times. Out of 16 tries, they should have had at least 16, let's say, they should have at least 3 rings. They should have at least 3 rings. They should have 3 rings. They should. Nevertheless, the Cowboys, yes, we don't have a lot of room to talk about, right? But when I start to think about it, and I say to myself, you mean to tell me we going back and forth for divisional wins and winning the division when we had majority of the state with Dak Prescott, with Jason Garrett, who can't find a job in the National Football League? Contextualize that. Who is beating down the doors for Jason Garrett to be their head coach? I'll wait. Who's beating down the doors for Jason Garrett to be their offensive coordinator? I'll wait. Sanjay says, didn't the Eagles claim Wentz was better than Dak? How come they didn't win with him against Dallas? Exactly, boy. Oh, my gosh, man. Oh, my gosh, man. You know,
Want the truth? You can't handle the truth.
yeah, somebody said Pop Warner team. You know.
Because if you only give me half the story, that's a lie. Because if it ain't the whole story, it's a lie. So he did what Dak Prescott did, throwing the ball, okay, while adding a whole nother dimension of the game that the defense got to worry about and him running the ball. Not only did he do that, he was number one from the pocket while having those rushing yards. I don't think a quarterback in the history of the NFL has done that. Throwing for over 3,500 passing yards, 20 passing touchdowns, rushed for over 700 yards, 10 rushing touchdowns, and over 10 rushing touchdowns, and be number one in the pocket in all passing statistics. I don't think another quarterback has ever done that. Dak Prescott wasn't number one in the pocket in all statistics his rookie year. And Dak Prescott did not run for 700 yards and 13 touchdowns his rookie year. So that's just crazy for you guys to even go and draw the conclusion that, you know, those seasons are similar. I mean, it's only similar if you leave stuff out. Let's keep it all the way. This is the word they like to use right now, y'all, context. Let's keep everything in context, right? Let's give context to some of these statements that y'all saying. Don't make sense. And, you know, just to make sure y'all follow me down this walk, what's the context in you guys being 8-3, 7-2, and 9-1 against the teams in the division? Everybody else had a multitude of different quarterbacks. Bring the contents to y'all amazing record.
As I said before, the facts are the facts. The first 3 seasons, I'm seeing a higher completion percentage. I'm seeing a higher passing yards. I'm seeing a higher total passing yards per game, a higher touchdown ratio. I'm seeing a higher passer rating. And I'm just looking at it right here. I'm looking at it as it relates to the stats. That's just what it is. Now, granted, team success is a pivotal thing, and I'm not going to take that away. I'm not finna say Trent Difford don't deserve to have his Super Bowl ring. I'm not finna say Brad Johnson don't deserve to have his Super Bowl ring. I'm not finna sit back and say Joe Flacco should return his Super Bowl rings. I'm not finna say that. But it is an ultimate team sport. And I'm not finna take away the 2 playoff victories that Jalen Hurts then got, whether it be from a Daniel Jones or Joshua, Johnson. They knocked out Brock Purdy. He only played for 3 snaps in that game. That's what your defense is supposed to do. I'm not taking that away from Jalen Hurts. I'm not finna sit back here and say that Jalen Hurts is trash. But for one thing I can say to you guys right now, Jalen Hurts it was Dak Prescott coming out of college. And like I said, when you start to talk real football, Cowboy Nation, and we start to look at everything line for line, we can tell y'all that 9 times out of 10, the team that make the acquisitions on both sides of the football wins the game. The team that has the better coaching, that got the better coaching philosophy and principles, wins the game. We can talk to the high heavens on how loaded this team was or what have you. It's just equivalent that I can go to any car lot and go pick up a car, pick it up for my daughter and give her the keys to the doggone Mercedes, Bentley, Ferrari, whatever it may be, and tell her to drive it, don't mean she's going to be able to get it out of the driveway at the age of 6 or at the age of 7 or even when she becomes a teenager. Those are the realities of it. Just because you got the talent doesn't mean that it's going to automatically win it for you. You got to have someone that can drive. You got to have someone that can lead. You got to have someone that can put teams in the right, proper spot into situation to win. That's the reality of it. And that is the truth, regardless of it. And there will always be people that will say they know this and that and not call in. But I want you guys to call in and get me off of what I'm talking about.
Call my phone, hit my
the hotline for your mind.
Downfall line. Keep it super thorough my way on this side. Keep it super thorough my way on
657-390-7391. The hotline for your mind is brought to you by SportsCon. Let's go.
Mobbing with my brothers, there's no question, keep it real.
Come on.
Coasting over in the hills.
Don't run now.
Faces not
Hey,
the
Colin.
pills. Heard you calling bluffs, I show and prove it is for real. Son of God, not a son of Sam.
Come on.
Keep it off the books and keep it coming in. Bitch, the old whip, see what I'm coming in. The inside caramel just like 100 grand. Call my phone,
Hit my line, baby.
Downfall line. Keep it super thorough my way on this side. Keep it super thorough my way.
618. You're live. Chris, you're live. Talk to me.
Yo, what's up, Law?
Nothing to it, man. You're on the hotline for your mind. State your case on which quarterback that you say that is better or best or however you want to go with it, dog. You live.
Oh, Dak is league's better. Like, I'll keep it 100. Hurts had a good year last year, right?
Granted, he did.
A good year with
Yeah.
the talent that he had. But we cannot just crown him after 1 year. Like, what if, like, look at Wentz. He had that one great year before he got injured, was able to get to the playoffs, may have got injured, may not have went to this rule and won it. But you just can't crown him. After that, he was done. Like, you can't crown Hurts after 1 year. But let's say this next year and he comes out and does the same thing, right?
Right.
Then we can talk about, okay, that's a big controversy of who's better, but we can't just crown him after 1 year. You know what I mean?
True that.
And Eagles fans get mad that we take out the rushing stats when that's not Dak's game. He's not been a consistent runner since, 2016 to, probably 2018, probably. And he wasn't even, on Hurts level. He just run when he had to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, Eagle fans need to start thinking, is it smart to be running Hurts? Look at Cam Newton. He ran for the majority of his career when you'd run a lot. And look at him now. He's out of the league. You know what I mean? These running quarterbacks are great when they can run and throw. But when you do it too much, it can ruin their career. You know what I mean? And I think they really need to, if they want to get Hurts to the next level, to stop running him so much. Because his body's going to wear down over time. Just like a running back.
Yeah, in the first 3 years, of Jalen Hurts' career, he have a 178 more attempts of rushing the ball. And I'm not taking that away. That's a hell of a good scheme to run your quarterback. Right. I mean, if you can win with running the ball, I'm not going to take that away from him. You know, I've seen Steve Young run the ball and win the Super Bowl. I've seen John Elway on the latter part of his career to run and be able to win 2 Super Bowls, right? So I'm not finna take that away from the man. Even in the Super Bowl, we seen Patrick Mahomes ran the ball. I think the last scramble drill that he ran was the reason why they won. Basically, with one leg.
In my opinion, I just think they need to run him smarter.
Right.
You know? Because let's say if he was more of a guy that would run and slide more and bounce more than just taking hits. Because he quite a bit of hits last year.
Right.
I respect him running, but he takes a lot of hits, just like Cam Newton did, and it can ruin his career. He already hurt his throwing shoulder last year.
He did.
Don't want it to be worse. Look at that. He had that run. Granted, it was a bad tackle because his leg got jangled, but shit happens.
Shit do happen, man.
Put yourself in that situation when you run.
Yep, no
You know
doubt.
what I mean?
Man, I appreciate
That's
you,
why I
man.
think
Thank you so
more-
much for calling in, Chris. Thank you, dog. Appreciate you.
DC for life.
Yeah, DC for life, man. All right, so with that being said, those are the facts of the matter. Like, this is not no one just looking at a quarterback that can run the ball as a discount. I look at it as smart and wise to use your legs, right? To evade, to elude, right? To find an opening slot and to get the first down to live to fight another day, right? Run the ball instead of throwing the INT. But there are consequences, right, when you run the ball. That's just how it is. Now, you just got to be prepared for that. Now, granted, hear me out. He's going into his 4th season now. And just by the law of averages alone, the more you run the ball and the more you have 280 pounds to 300-pound bodies landing on you, the bigger the risk. Right? So that's the reality of it. Now, granted, like I said, Jalen Hurts, what we're saying is this guy doing this. You will be a fool to say, hey, man, he's the same quarterback that he was at Oklahoma. You know what I'm saying? He's the same quarterback that he was at Alabama. He's the same quarterback that he was his first year. No, we're not saying that. He may be doing this all the way through, right? He can be flat out better than what he was last year. But we will find out. We will find out this year. But you can't take what he did from just last year and say he's already arrived. Oh, but he made it to the Super Bowl. Rex Grossman made it to the Super Bowl. Brad Johnson made it to the Super Bowl. Y'all get with what I'm saying. Come on, baby. Let's go with it. All right, I got the next caller. Hey, just this guy got a familiar voice from the 815. Brandon, you live.
What's up, Law?
Talk to me, man. No. State your case. No, state your case on why Jalen Hurts is better than Dak Prescott. Yeah, go ahead.
I mean, to me, I already stated that. I mean, Jalen Hurts is everything that Law and all of us Cowboys fans we hope that Dak would be.
Based off of what?
I'm just leadership and play on the field and things of that nature. I also want to
wait a minute. You said leadership, play on the field, and things of that nature. Which game? Which game are you talking about?
I see what Law wants me to do is I'm not going to argue against the fact that Dak is head to head. He's outplayed Jalen Hurts. I've already conceded that. That was one of my things. We played good against the NFC East. I just from my flavor, I just like Jalen Hurts. I think and then also a lot of
hold on, Brandon. Let me say this. There's nothing wrong with you liking something, right? There's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong when you use anecdotal situations and say, "Hey, this is the reason why I like it." But when you bring up empirical facts, that means that stats and numbers, right, and win to loss ratios, then that's when we start talking truth. I can like for OJ to be guilty, but he wasn't because the glove didn't fit.
But then I just conceded. I just conceded that. I said, "Hey,
right, okay, I get what you're saying."
Head to head, Jalen Hurts head to head. He doesn't. He wouldn't even have. If that was the only fight head to head, then of course Dak would win. But I'm not judging off that. I also
okay.
I want to throw this in there too. Jalen Hurts, I believe he's entering in his 4th season or his 5th season.
Yeah, his 4th season.
Dak is entering his 4th season. Dak is entering his 8th season. So please let's not act like that Dak should be a couple steps ahead of him. But if one could argue that they either, I think Jalen Hurts is better. But I also want to state this. in defense of Dak. This in defense of Dak, because I don't like what Lord Brunson did.
Okay, go ahead.
We do have to state some facts now. We do have to state the facts. Dak dominates Jalen Hurts. And also, like, I'm not a huge Dak fan, but the one thing that I can say about Dak is in the regular season, he's pretty consistent on being a good quarterback. Jalen Hurts, I've seen you be a good quarterback 1.5 years. We're going to need you to do it again next year. So I will concede that also. But my stance on Dak stays the same. Nothing of that changed my stance. I'm 10 toes down in what I said. That won't change. Like nothing. Like see, like a rational Cowboy fan understand what I just said. Irrational say I don't know. I'm not a Cowboy fan. I like. You can say I don't like that. I'm not gonna argue with you on that.
Hey, I feel you on that. And hold on, let me say this. There should be a level of expectations, right? Like I got a level of expectations with mine. It's like they can't bring, like the expectations is they can't bring D's and C's in Law Nation House. They can't do it. I do not accept it, right? So when they do brings the C into the house, guess who on them more so than anything? Me, right? Because I know for sure that those things are not acceptable, right? And even sometimes if I know for sure that you are capable of giving me an A+ and you bring your butt in here with a B, don't you know I rain down real hard, right? And that's just what I do. That's because those are my levels expectations. But the reality of it, I can't have those expectations if I'm not able to provide the proper training, executions as a father, right? So those are the things that the Cowboys front office didn't do. Now, granted, I know where you can go with this, but I'm just saying for real, the levels of expectations of the Cowboys lifting up a Lombardi trophy couldn't have been there with Jason Garrett. Couldn't have been there, and I'm not beating up on the young kid, Kellen Moore. It couldn't have been there. Couldn't have been there because nobody in the history. Hear me out, Brandon. Nobody in the history of this great sport that we call NFL was able to do that what we expected of Kellen Moore to do. And I can't expect my little ones to make an A's if I'm not there putting them in the best position possible to win. But go ahead.
Yeah, what I'm gonna say to that is you gotta be careful. Be careful, Law. Because what has history shown us? History has shown us that Dak gonna be pretty good in the regular season. We're gonna get to the playoffs and we're probably gonna lose. But now this is the caveat to that though. You don't have Kellen Moore as your safety net, Law. Who do you blame then? I'm not saying 100% is on Dak, but Dak, this year has to be the year Dak says, I'm putting the team on my shoulders. I know nobody wants to give him that responsibility, but I am. I'm sorry.
Well,
he has to have that responsibility.
No doubt. I appreciate your stance on that. Hey, we all have that for him, right? And we all look. Ain't nobody saying that Dak Prescott in that 49ers game get an excused absence for those 2 turnovers. We're not saying that. Collectively, ain't nobody saying the same thing for any other quarterback. What we're saying is, hey, we understood that we can win 12-5 games last year, regardless of the quarterback being healthy, or hear me out, we had Noah Brown, or the guy that was 33 years old, T.Y. Hilton. There's no excuse for that, right? Cooper Rush or what have you. It doesn't matter for that because everyone have a reason, but results are what matter. What we are saying is collectively, if you want to lift up that Lombardi trophy, you got to make sure that you continue to provide weapons around your quarterback. And that wasn't given to us in the last, 7 years with Dak Prescott. It haven't been given to us.
Look, hey,
Appreciate you, dog.
I don't disagree with that. But shout out to the Law Nation. How about them Cowboys? Dak Prescott, bro. I'm watching. I won't give you a pass. Sorry.
No doubt, man. Appreciate you, man. From the 815. That's my guy, Brandon. But I just want you guys to understand that there was two ways that you can look into this, and I know that a lot of people are going to look at this and say, nah, Law. There should be no excuses. There should be no excuses. When we see every team go out there, the last 10 teams to win the Super Bowl, they made big free agent moves, big offseason acquisitions. The last 10 teams to win the Super Bowl. Those are not anecdotal stats. It's empirical. So that's what I want to tell you guys. All right, so you got to be able to be willing to do that.
The conference has been locked.
All right, let's get my guy from the 903. You're live. From the 903, you're live. You're live. Going once, twice. All right. 580, you're live. You're live. Kelvin, DC. Kevin, you're live.
What's up, my brother from another mother?
Nothing to it, Chief. Talk to me.
Oh, not much, bro. Hey, I know, I'm fixing to throw some shade at your other brother, Brandon. Man, this fool need to come on. Talking about we have just as good as much of a chance with Cooper Rush as Dak Prescott. Get on out of here with that. And then saying Jalen Hurts, liking Jalen Hurts, you know, we got our own pace, you know, over Dak Prescott, but toe-to-toe, Dak Prescott against Jalen Hurts. Dak Prescott wins. He owns Jalen Hurts. I mean, you just can't compare the two. I mean, yeah, Dak has a little bit more time than Jalen Hurts, but still, I mean, and then he's always hating on Dak, but let's just be honest. Yeah, last year probably was his worst year when it came to interceptions and everything.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
But his rookie year, what did he throw? 3 interceptions, and I think the second year, I think it was 4 interceptions and everything, because he always brought up the fact that his mother hated interceptions, and that was the biggest thing she was always hardest on him about, because that was something he could prevent. And he's even hard on himself about that. But last year was his worst year. Like both me and you have said before, he had that thumb injury.
Right.
Now, take it in granted, your thumb has a lot to do with how you can grip that ball.
It is.
The strength, the accuracy, and everything. I'm not trying to come up with all excuses and everything for Dak.
Right.
You know, he did make some poor throws and everything, but you know, your thumb has a lot to do with your grip on that football.
It do.
So,
It do. I mean, we can go back and forth about, you know, the injuries and you still played or what have you. And at the end of the day, Dak Prescott coming back from that injury, hey, kudos and credence for him, right? We won more games than we lost games when he had when he came back from that thumb situation. Now the playoff game, one of the things that we can look back at and say, God, dog, what happened? You know. But we can also look at the game plan within the confines of that playoff game, right? Were there any scheme, strategy to put your quarterback in favorable situations? The answer to that is no. And I get it. I get what people will say. Well, hey, it's been 7 years. It's been 8 years. Well, I'm not saying that Dak Prescott is Peyton Manning, but for dog it took that brother 9 years, right? And I don't ever think that Peyton Manning had less talent than Dak Prescott ever in his first 10 seasons, right? He had literally 2 Hall of Famers at wideouts, right? Then Dallas Clark, right? And a Hall of Fame running back before Edge left. So I get what all people will say, and I'm not saying that Dak Prescott is better than good old Peyton Manning. Don't let me pull up those numbers, though. You know, but I appreciate you for calling in, Kevin.
I'm kind of interested in hearing those numbers too.
Yeah,
I got one
man.
question before you
Talk to me.
before I let you go. Can I ask you something? Why do people discredit us so much about the first playoff win that we got against Tampa Bay and everything against Tom Brady? The first time we ever beat him, they want to all of a sudden just say, "Oh, it's because he's old. He's washed up and everything." But all those other times, he wasn't that much older. And what did it matter then to now?
It's called moving the goalposts. It's called that and searching for content, right? So when teams say those things, it's just what it is. We are the Dallas Cowboys, and we're going to get all of the negative talking points about that. And we didn't supposed to win, basically. We went in there on the road, won it, right? And then they put us on a Monday night football game to play against the number one defense, respectfully, in the San Francisco, which game plan was all thrown to the wayside when your other running back get hurt. So I get all of that. We supposed to be able to walk on water, but it sounds like bevies of excuses. Anyone else, they would say, okay. But I appreciate you for calling in.
Thank you, brother.
No doubt, man. Appreciate you, man. Oh, yeah, to add into more context, appreciate you, Common Sense Lab. He says, also, Peyton Manning had a Hall of Famer coach. Right. Right. Come on, man, you know. But that's a whole nother conversation there. All right, we're going to make sure we get to these few callers that called in. Mark, that drive trucks, you're live from the 832. State your case.
What's good? What's good? What's good, man?
Nothing to it, man. Holla at me.
Hey, look. You know me, man. Look, Dak, that's my dude, and I can be as critical of Dak as anybody. Let me say this right off the bat about Jalen Hurts. I like Jalen Hurts.
Yep.
Back up a little further. Let me back up a little further. I love football, but there's only 3 teams in the NFL I hate. I will not root for. I don't care who play for them, who coach them, nothing. That's the Pittsburgh Steelers. The hell with the Pittsburgh Steelers. The hell with the Philadelphia Eagles. And the hell with the Washington Redskins team, Commanders, Commodes, whatever they calling themselves. The hell with them too.
Throw in the Niners for me, man. Throw in the Niners, man. Come on, bro.
No, I can't do that. I respect the Niners.
You respect them? Oh, man, I can't stand them, boy.
I respect because of Joe Montana and Jerry Rice. I respect the New York Giants because of Lawrence Taylor. That's it. I don't root for them, but I really can't get to where I hate them.
Okay.
Everybody else, I don't care what they do. But the Eagles, the Redskins, and the Steelers, all of them go to hell. I don't care who coach.
Man, hello.
I hate to say that. I hate to say that about Mike Tomlin because I know Mike Tomlin, but he coached the wrong damn team. He sure is. I tell him before. I tell him to his face. This is, and you made this point here about supporting Dak, getting behind Dak, holding Dak accountable, all of these types of things.
Right.
That you're looking for your quarterback. Dak cannot be the leader that everybody in that organization says he is, even up to and past the point of him taking accountability when things fail, because that's exactly what he does. He never said it's somebody else's fault.
Right.
He never said it was a bad play call. He said it was me.
It's on me.
That's
Yeah.
usually after the fact, but that's that. You can't tell me that guy is a leader and you hold him accountable or you let him take accountability, but then you don't give him the responsibility. And by that I mean they gave Jalen Hurts the responsibility in Philadelphia. How did they do that? They shaped the offense around what Jalen Hurts did best. Remember, when Jalen Hurts started his first year, his first full season start, all these people with receipts, you need to check your bank because somebody done got their money took from them. But when Jalen Hurts started that first season, the first 3 or 4 games of that season, they was trying to make Jalen Hurts over there, trying to make him Tom Brady, trying to make him Patrick Mahomes, trying to make him a 5-step, 7-step drop quarterback. And he couldn't do that. So what did they do? What did they do? They got rid of stuff he couldn't do. They stopped asking him to do stuff that he couldn't do at that time. Whether he can in the future or not, we don't know. But they stopped asking him to win with his arm when he couldn't. They wouldn't got that chicken wing, single back, high school offense, and running. Triple option offense. I'm kind of crazy talking about it. But
No, you good. You good. And those are the truths, man. And people fail to realize that, man. And we're not taking away. Look, we're not taking away for them seeing weakness on their team and saying, okay, let's strengthen that part of it. Let's get better wide receivers. Jalen Rager can't do it, right? Let's go make an acquisition to go get a Dak Prescott. Let's not stop there. And let's go get an A.J. Brown. So if you flat out ask any Eagle fan off the record and say, hey, which you guys made it to the Super Bowl without an A.J. Brown? A third of them that's real gonna say, you know, I mean, you're right, dog. You know, we wouldn't have made it to the Super Bowl without an A.J. Brown. We wouldn't have had the type of caliber with Jalen Rager and Smitty. What, right? So those are the realities of it.
That's the reality.
Yeah.
Again, it's not about trying to be some kind of sports psychologist. Well, you know, again, Jalen Hurts, I like Jalen Hurts. I always have liked him. I'm glad they got him only for the fact that I can't stand Carson Wentz. I never could. I never got why people thought Carson Wentz was better than Dak Prescott, but Dak whipped his head every time they played him. But that's neither here nor there either.
You said earlier you respect the Niners, right?
Yeah.
Do you remember Joe Montana to Roger Craig, right? For those who really understand and know football, Joe wouldn't have had all of those Super Bowl rings without Roger. And then all of a sudden, after Roger Craig, he get Jerry Rice. Joe wouldn't have had all of those doggone Super Bowls without those. So it's equivalent to saying, let Joe do it without those boys and let's see if he's really elite. Come on, man.
No, man, it's stupid. Let's get deep on that. Just a little sidebar.
Yeah.
Again, it does matter who the hell is coaching. Okay? We talk about the players because we see the players. As fans or whatnot, we can see the player messing up or whatever. But the coach sets the tone and the table. Just real quick with Joe Montana, Bill Walsh had Joe Montana first 2 seasons. Joe Montana, people forget this. Joe Montana, for anybody that don't know Joe Montana or really don't know him, if you saw Drew Brees play, you saw Joe Montana. That's what Drew Brees was, except Drew Brees wasn't the athlete that Joe Montana was.
Yeah. I'm about to say, Drew was a little bit more athletic, though. But go ahead.
The one thing Joe Montana had was what everybody want to talk about here. Cooper Rush got a noodle arm. You think Cooper Rush got a noodle arm. Somebody that really didn't have a strong arm was Joe Montana.
He had the Chad Pennington's arm. You know what I'm saying? Hey.
I think Joe Montana was the dude. I still think, to me, he's still the best quarterback in NFL history.
I mean, when you look at it, Mark, I hate to just talk so much on the West Coast philosophies and principle, but Tom Brady said, shoot, let me just get that too. You know what I'm saying? Let me do what Joe did. And that dink and that dunk, that wasn't even considered a horrid thing, but it didn't consider a horrible thing until 2016. Dink and Dak. That's when it was birthed, and it wasn't birthed until.
Something wrong with. So again, it gets specific. Right. But again, a long story short, with Montana, what Bill Walsh did with Montana, he didn't ask Montana to do things that he couldn't do with the football. He stopped asking Joe Montana to throw out routes because Joe Montana couldn't throw an out route. It would get picked off, it would get tipped, it would flutter, so he stopped doing that. And they did the same thing with Jalen Hurts up there, and they'll admit it. We stopped asking Jalen Hurts to throw the ball as much because he's not ready to do that as much yet. Now, he got a little bit better this season, which was Super Bowl doing that. He even threw for a lot of yards in the Super Bowl. So he's progressing, but they brought him along, and they let him be the player he was with all that intangibles and leadership. He's a better leader than that, all that nonsense. All that stuff shines through, because they only asking Jalen Hurts to do what he does. Now, how that goes to Dak, to me, ever since Dak been here, he's been playing in somebody else's offense that he, quote-unquote, ain't good enough to play in. He can't, quote-unquote, read defenses. He can't, quote-unquote, throw the football. He can't, quote-unquote, do this in somebody else's offense that he done broke records in.
Talk to him, man. Mark, talk to him, man. I'm going to let these other callers on, man, but you bringing a lot of heat, man. Appreciate you.
Imagine what would have happened, and this is what might be, and we talked about this, me and you, Mark. We talked about this, too, and I'm going to let you go when you got on the phone.
All right.
The first thing Mike McCarthy did in them OTAs with Dak, and they putting this new offense in, whatever they can call it Texas toast, they can call it Pop Toast Crunch, I don't care what they call it. First thing Mike McCarthy did with Dak Prescott, he said, Dak, don't come ask me what to do. You tell me what it is you want to do. My foundation is set, but we're going to shape it around what you do and what you want to do, particularly with Dak. Dak is not Jalen Hurts in that whole veteran experience thing. Dak done been around the block. Dak done everything he could possibly do as a quarterback that's quote-unquote limited, a quote-unquote marginal quarterback, a quote-unquote ain't good quarterback, all this other stupid stuff.
Talk to
Dak
him, man.
has outperformed anybody's expectations. What Dak has not had is what we have said, is what some people say but don't understand. Dak has not had the responsibility because people don't know because we had people in the building that didn't know what the hell to do with him.
The truth shall set you free. My goodness, man. And that's exactly what we've been arguing with, you know.
He made enough up for you to win 12 games, fool.
There you go. And the name of the game is to get to the playoff. Of course. Yeah. Of course. We've been short-sighted with the playoff situation, but any coach that been in these playoff trenches understand that, hey, this is how you got to win playoff games. You can't formulate that with Jason Garrett. You couldn't have formulated that with my guy Kellen Moore. And granted, these last two seasons last two seasons that we've been in the playoff with Kellen Moore, granted, it's not like we gotten blown out by 30 points or 40 points or even 20 points or even, I'll say 2 touchdowns. It's been exactly how football tend to be. It's a game of errors. And if you mess up one good time, if you not stand up all night trying to take away what teams do best, even on the offensive side of the coin, you will lose that game. Mm-hmm. You will lose that game.
Exactly.
Go ahead.
It's about operator headspace. We have had some dumb people running the damn football team. Look no further than what Dan Quinn has done with people that left him alone. It ain't taking him that long.
No doubt, man. I appreciate you calling in, man. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, dog.
I appreciate you taking a call, man. Go ahead.
No doubt, man. I got the 242. You're live, man. You're live on the Nation.
Hey, good afternoon. Hey, Lord, what's up, man?
Nothing to it, man. Talk to me.
Listen, I calling you from the Bahamas. It's the first time I listen to you all the time. I always comment, but this is the first time I call in because today I hear like a lot of atrocities. You know what I mean?
Right.
Jalen Hurts. By the way, I'm an Alabama fan. Roll Tide. I know all of them at the Smith and the very good football players, True Diggs and the rest of them. But
the conference has been unlocked.
Okay. And so I was a Cowboys fan from 1987, 88.
Okay.
Games was bad for the Emmett, Troy, and Michael Irvin era. Cowboys fans, you made a point today that I don't think they understand. We had a real head coach only for about between 6 and 8 years. I wouldn't even call it 8. I think between 4 and 6 years. The only time after the dynasty that we had a true head coach. And the talent wasn't there for the head coach to actually get them to where they need to be. Now, this year, what pisses me off about Kenneth and atrocity is we've built a team this year that I feel can go all the way. And everybody is concerned about the Eagles and a one-time anomaly that Dak Prescott is showing interceptions. Now, I know ESPN and the rest of those few-letter networks like you mentioned.
Right.
That they need music and all that stuff. But come on, man. It's one season. And the reason I'm going to say that is this. So, in the same way that you killed Dak for one season, why aren't you killing Jalen? Because from last year, from the Eagles got that early exit in the playoffs that Lord lost to them, they was talking about bringing in another quarterback and drafting another quarterback. Hurts had one good season for me to enter the NFL. It just so happened that it came in the season of a contract year, and he was able to get paid. Now, I have to be honest with you, I've watched him from college. I saw that very easy. He went through with Obama and two were taking over and winning us the title game and all that. I saw all of that. And I give the man credit. He went to Oklahoma, ball out, X, Y, Z. Yes, he's always taking on challenges. But it's the NFL, bro. You don't get your flowers after one season of losing the Super Bowl.
After losing, like this is the first time in history, whereas a team go to the Super Bowl, they lose, right? And they talk about a team that they didn't even play in the playoffs, right? It's 9 times out of 10 that the Eagles, if I was an Eagles fan, I would be talking about the vicious fight that I want to get back to get to the Super Bowl versus the Chiefs. the Chiefs would be my number one enemy, right? But they find themselves fighting us, right? And we're sitting here like, come on, man. And granted, even when we say that, yeah, man, Jalen Hurts is pretty good. Man, he had a hell of a good year. No, he's better, right? That's the first thing they all cry about. He's better. No, he got to get there. He got to beat him at least once, right? Come on, man.
But law, exactly. And that's not the thing, Law. It's like Eagles fans, you know, they keep talking about history. They say, oh, the Cowboys can't get nowhere. The Cowboys can't make it in 28 years. How about this? I watched Carson Wentz ball out before he got hurt out of MVP season. How it worked out for the Eagles after they gave him the big contract? How did it work out for them? Did that work out?
It didn't work out well for
So
him.
if I was Eagles fan, I would be totally afraid of a 1 year anomaly season after a quarterback was put in charge for 2 straight years and it didn't work out. And then in the third year, whatever, he decided, hey, there's a contract here, I need to play better. But the schedule was vanilla. Let's be real. They didn't really play anybody until San Francisco rolled up there and brought Purdy threw the ball 3 times. So they was able to go to the Super Bowl. Everything went right for the Eagles this year. The vanilla schedule, no good quarterback in the playoff, but I also believe Daniel Jones is overpaid. That's a whole other story.
There's a whole nother story. But, hey, I appreciate you so much for calling in.
It's not better than Dak Prescott. Let them know that. Tell Eagles family, lock themselves. We're in Dakota Prescott. It's going to be in the NFC title game this year. I don't know who against, but the Cowboys can in the Super Bowl. As long as everybody stays healthy, that team that they build can beat anybody in the NFC. Anybody, anywhere, anytime.
No doubt, man. So. Appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, brother.
That's a good call from him. All right, here's my thoughts. Everything went well for the Eagles but the slippery field. That's what I'm hearing now, the slippery field. If they had a real field out there in the Super Bowl, they would have won the Super Bowl. Right? That's the excuse that they're using, right? They said that it was the field that caused them to lose the Super Bowl. I guess the Chiefs played on a different field, right? Whenever they hiked the ball, they put new field out there for them. I guess that's what happened. That's all I'm saying, right? So shout out to the Chiefs and the field crew for giving the Chiefs a different field. All right, I got JV. I just opened the phone lines up to get y'all. Hold on, this is what I'm going to do.
Has been unlocked.
I'm going to lock this phone line down at 5:20 my time. It's 5:16, so I'm giving y'all 4 minutes. So if you guys listening in to the nation, brought to you by SportsCon, 657-390-7391 is the hotline. I'm giving you guys up until 5:20, my time to call in. Call on in. Voice your thoughts and your opinions. Make it quick because I got to go. All right, so I got 901. You're live.
Hey, Law Nation, what's going on?
Nothing to it, Chief. Talk to me, man.
Hey, look here. I wanted to get in touch with you over the weekend on the Streamlabs and the video calls and all that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it got kind of rough, and I was like, but I don't want to talk about what I was like. All I want to say is, man, it's amazing how their whole Dak Prescott, who had a coach named Jason Garrett and an offensive coordinator named Kellen Moore, who were handpicked by an owner named Jerry Jones to be the next best thing to sliced bread.
JB, before you make that point, here's what I'm reading for some people that will say, well, you're blaming Jason Garrett. You're blaming Scott Linehan. You're blaming my guy, Kellen Moore. When all 3 of those guys have nothing proven on their resume, there's no hard evidence that you can pull back on Jason Garrett's collegiate career, right, as a coach to say, okay, this is what he done to get that job. There's no tangible evidence that Scott Linehan, when he was called upon to be a head coach, to showcase that, hey, he can get it done. And for sure, I'm not bashing Kellen Moore because I think the young kid is brilliant. But he's young. He's going to get better, but we have to have the expectations of knowing that there will be growing pains. But there's nobody that can out-debate me with this fact right here, that he was an unproven offensive coordinator who didn't have scans on the wall. For you to have the expectations for him to coach the America's team to win a Super Bowl is crazy, right? It is flat out crazy. It's just not. They'll bring up the end. They'll bring up the fact that we couldn't get it done. How he's supposed to get it done? How he's supposed to get it? Osmosis? Come on,
and then
go ahead.
Compare him to folks like Tom Brady and Peyton Manning and Drew Brees, and they'll even compare him to credible coaches such as who was the coach for the Buffalo Bills? I forget his name. Brian Daboll.
Brian Daboll. Yeah.
Well, that's for the New York Giants. He has also shown himself to be a tolerable coach.
Yeah.
But so I mean, you give these guys who have absolutely no skins on the wall in the NFL to do what they do for any quarterback or any player in the NFL, and say they're the next best thing in the NFL at their position.
Yeah.
And want to sit up there and say, yes, this quarterback here is going to perform at that level of a Hall of Famer or a Super Bowl winning coach, or a Super Bowl winning quarterback at that level. And he has performed above a level that anybody could expect because his talent has shown time and time again that he knows what he's doing out here, as well, when it comes to the NFL on that field.
The conference has been locked.
And,
no doubt.
And playing, off of last season, the most interceptions in the NFL. I mean, hell, when I played football in high school and in college, it was like when they touch your hand, you're supposed to catch that ball.
Yeah.
When they touch your body, you're supposed to catch that ball.
Yeah.
And, but I'm hearing folks now talking about it's based off the position. But I want to know, hey, what position are you talking about when that ball hits your body or it hits your hand?
Yeah. And one more point, man. I got to get these other callers in, JV. One more point. You good? Appreciate you.
I'm here.
No. I was just saying one more point. I got to let you go, man. I got other people.
Oh, okay. Well, so it just amazes me how these folks would sit here and ignore all the talent and supportive talent that these quarterbacks that they want to compare Dak Prescott to, but then sit up here and say Dak Prescott is not the best. He has done amazing things, 10 times over what other quarterbacks have to deal with.
No doubt.
And he hasn't even had the talent around him. When he had the talent, they took it away from him.
No doubt, man. I appreciate you so much, JV. Thank you for calling in from the 901. Hey, to that point and to that degree, can't nobody do like this for the 2023 last season, 2022 season, and say, okay, who was the most yards allowed DB? Which DB in the National Football League gave up the most yards allowed? Can't nobody do it just like that. But for 2021, I guarantee y'all knew, hey, Trayvon Diggs gave up the most yards allowed. There's not a single person that can say right now yards allowed was giving up the most out of this DB in 2022 because that stat line don't mean anything anymore. Y'all see how that goes, ladies and gentlemen? That's how it is. All right, so with that being said, I got the 254. You're live from the 254. We got two 254s, but this is the other 254. You're live. All right, 254, you're live.
Yeah, that's me.
Yeah, you live. Talk to me, man. You live on the Nation.
That was two. I got confused.
Yeah, it was two, but the other one didn't say anything. Go ahead.
Yeah, man. Dak is the better quarterback to me, man. I think it's kind of obvious. I know Philly fans got a lot of pride. I think most of their stuff comes from pride, but you can't tell me that. I actually watched football last year. They had to win the last 7 or 8 games to get into the playoffs. I don't think Dak Prescott would have been in that situation.
Here's what's going on, fam. What's your name? Let me just save your name in here.
Texas T.
Texas. hold on. Hold on.
Texas T, I've been on the stream a couple times.
Here's what's going on, and I'm gonna be straight up. Jalen Hurts had a better season than Dak Prescott last season. There's no evidence for me to say otherwise, right? Jalen Hurts had a better year. He had a better year last year. He was phenomenal. And if Jalen Hurts continue, here's me giving the Eagles some love, and it's not hate. If he have the exact same season last year for this year, then yes, you can start saying, hey, man, this dude is heads and shoulder better than Dak Prescott. But the problem is that we play in a year-to-year league. And normally what people tend to do when they want to show love for their particular quarterback, they erase all of the negative years and only talk about the one. But how it was for the Cowboys, it was every year. Have you ever heard this right here? And let me know in the chat. Y'all can participate too. Have you ever heard, yeah, Dak did good, but can he do it without Ezekiel Elliott? Can he do it without that offensive line? Can he do it without those wide receivers? Can he do it without, well, who else do they say that for?
Really, it's a reverse excuse situation. And my thing is, if you watch football, tell me how, I want that they had the better running back room. They had a little bit more depth. They had the better O-line, quote unquote. They had the better receivers, quote unquote. They had the better defense, quote unquote, according to all the four-letter networks. But so they had the better overall team, quote unquote. But Jalen Hurts was far better as a quarterback than Dak Prescott. It just doesn't make sense to me.
It don't make any sense at all. I saw Did you watch the Cowboys versus Chicago Bears game?
No.
Last year you didn't watch that game? All right, did you watch the – damn, dog, you need to go back and watch that one. Hey, did you watch the Cowboys?
It's a couple I'm missing.
Hey, man, go back and watch that one, man. Did you watch the Cowboys versus the Detroit Lions game?
Yeah, that one I did watch.
You watched that one. After watching that game, did you come off seeing – with your eyes that Jared Goff is a better quarterback than Dak Prescott just by that game, one game alone?
No, honestly, I did not. And there's a lot of quarterbacks I see just in the NFC where it's this disrespect of, like, even Kirk Cousins is better than Dak Prescott, but he's got the best receiver in the NFL on his sideline. He's got an offensive coordinator that's not going against the grain and kind of going with the grain. And another thing, when I kind of stopped arguing with Philly fans is when they're saying that they're going to be better than us this year, even though the defensive coordinator couldn't even be a coordinator for the Bears. Apparently, he lost that job, and then their offensive coordinator has never been any type of coordinator. He's their he was a former quarterbacks coach.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy, huh? Yeah. Man, it's crazy how they do that, fam, Texas T. Logically speaking, it's just crazy. But, man, I'm going to let you go, man. Appreciate you for calling in, bro. And, hey, do me a favor, man. Just go watch that game. Go watch that game, the Cowboys versus Chicago Bears last season. You will enjoy it, man. No doubt.
Matchup, like people that watch fighting know, boxing know, matchups make fights. So,
do make.
It might be a bottom of the barrel team as far as the 32 in the NFL, but any given Sunday somebody could beat you. You might not be because you might not be able to stop the run, and they might be good at the run. You might not be. You know what I'm saying?
No doubt, man. But I appreciate you, fam. Thank you for calling in.
No problem. No
doubt, man. He was right on the money with it. So let me see if I can pull this up right quick. Bear with me, Cowboy Nation. Bear with me. I'm gonna pull this up and boom, because we got to definitely talk about this. Hold on. We're gonna talk about this all the way, man. All right, so boom. Here I go right here. It says 2023 NFL QB tiers. And when I look back at this, they got Dak Prescott in tier 3. I've literally seen Daniel Jones, if you watch the Giants game, right, versus the Cowboys, if you just watch that game, you would never come out thinking that the quarterback for the Giants is just better than Dak Prescott. Even if you go watch the game, that when you seen Justin Fields out there on the field, you would never, ever think that Justin Fields in that game. Just go back and watch that game. And watch how Justin Fields was throwing the ball juxtaposed to Dak Prescott. You would never came out with that type of thought track, you know. And on top of that, I will give it to y'all far as having the other guys up there on top of that list. But come on, y'all. Come on, man. This is what they do. This is how they view us. And it's just crazy altogether, Cowboy Nation. Let's let the other caller in. I got Shisha Queen to be. Queen, you're live on the Nation. For the 9-10.
Good afternoon, y'all.
Hey, you're live. Talk to me.
Hey,
Yep.
how you doing?
Hey, I'm doing well. I'm doing well.
Yeah, you got it going on with all your stuff.
I'm doing well.
Stuff. You got getting ready to start up. You got it going on.
Yes,
and
indeed.
I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
I just wanted to tell you that part.
Mm-hmm.
The other part is, you know, every time you say that Kellen Moore is brilliant, I kind of like cringe. Because I don't understand. I mean, can you explain to me where you see his brilliance?
Most certainly. Give me 1 second. Keep going, and I'm finna give you the answer to that. Give me 1 second, okay? You got somebody at the front door. Hold that thought.
Okay.
Hey, Queen, I thought you was going to talk while I had to go. I thought you was going to be talking. I'm back. Now repeat that question. No, you good. You good. I had the Amazon lady to come to the front door, but it's all good. Talk to me. Now what was that question again?
Yes, I wanted you to explain to me where, what made you believe that Kellen Moore was brilliant?
Okay, what made me believe? Oh, okay. What made me believe that Kellen Moore is brilliant? Because he came from a backup quarterback to a quarterback coach, right? From a quarterback coach to an offensive coordinator to be able to keep a team in the top 5 rankings as offense. That is a brilliant job by him for coming up with some of those plays and concepts. He was brilliant enough for the Cowboys to keep 70% of his play styles or his play concept. They're going to keep 70% of that. But the problem is he's only brilliant and smart to a degree because this is what whoops knowledge, experience. Experience just can whoop anybody who's smart all day. Like, for example, I got a little one. She's very brilliant. She brings home nothing but A's and B's. But she can only be good to that confine of space of being in the first and the second grade, going to the second grade. She's not brilliant as it relates to being able to handle those things and responsibilities as it relates to a 10th grader or a 12th grader or somebody with a collegiate or a college degree. So what I'm saying is the Cowboys, they saw some talent in Kellen Moore, but they elevated him too fast and too quickly. And we see that a lot of times, even in mom and pop businesses and stores and things like that, whereas you see somebody and say, hey, they brilliant, they smart, but they ain't really qualified. They're not, because they don't have the levels of experience. So when I say Kellen Moore is brilliant, it's to a degree. Yeah. I'm not saying that he can walk on water, by the way. I'm not saying that. No.
Yeah, because when this last time that you said it, since we've been on this live, I looked it up because I wanted to. I mean, you kept saying he was brilliant, and I wanted to figure out, what it was about him that made him so brilliant. And a lot of the information that's given does not qualify him in that area.
Most certainly.
Brilliant.
Most certainly. To echo that, Sean McVay got it out of the mud. He started off with basically the Washington team, right? He was brilliant to a degree, but he had earned his right to become a head coach. Same with Kyle Shanahan. I think that they, at one point in time, the Washington team had Kyle Shanahan and Sean McVay on the same team, right? Both of those boys, they had talent, they had skills, but they didn't immediately give those guys head coaching, or not head coaching, but offensive play calling responsibility. They had to be quality control. They had to sit with teams as far as their individual quarterback coach, as well as I believe one of them was a blocking assignment guy, So what the Cowboys did is that they tried to make a shortcut to success, and there's no shortcut to success. And that is the issue with the Cowboys front office. They saw somebody with talent and they said, okay, F all of that. Let's just go ahead and make him a offensive coordinator. When you do those things, there will be some consequences and repercussions, right? Even when I talk about contracts and negotiating contracts, we can have a person that come out of the college first year. We will put them on a small order contract for $25,000 to maybe $50,000. But for those contracts that's over $500 million, hey, we ain't finna let them touch that by themselves because it's too much weight for them to handle that. They don't have they have the education, they have the degree, they graduated cum laude, all of this good stuff, but they don't have the levels of experience to handle the $500 million contracts or the $100 million contracts. They don't have that type of pedigree yet. And this is what I've been trying to say with the front office. Jason Garrett didn't have that pedigree, by the way. They did the exact same thing and expecting the good results, and that just don't happen, especially in the National Football League.
Yeah, because I was, like I said, I looked up a lot of the qualities and with brilliance, you have the ability to adapt, which very rarely was he able to adapt to situations, in his play calling to get us over the hump in several games, especially that 49ers game. He had a lack of creativity. He didn't know how to utilize a few of the talented players that we did have. I mean, he lacked creativity when it came to dialing up plays when they need to be dialed up to be utilized.
True.
I mean, it's a lot of stuff that, that he didn't qualify in that brilliance category. I could go on and on. I could, just talk about all this of the meaning that's there for him that, we would say a brilliant person is supposed to possess. I just feel like he knew somebody that knew somebody, and that's how he got that job. That's my opinion.
To a point, you are 1,000% right with that. I can't out debate you nor argue with you on that. Sometimes out of 10, I think that 90% of the head coaches in the National Football League, I think it's some crazy numbers, that they knew somebody, right? That they were in the folds with somebody that already coached this on this level, right? So I think it's like some crazy number, like 95 to 96%. So yes, you will have that far as here's how you are known to be a good coach or a great coach in the National Football League. What tree did you come from? Who did you come from? Right? And
Right.
And 9 times out of 10, you can look at a tree and say, okay, this is what the tree results is. We can look at Mike McCarthy and say he come from this tree. We can look at any coach, basically, outside of the coaching for the Cowboys and shake the tree and see where they came from. Jason Garrett didn't come from nobody's tree, right? And then when we think of even Scott Linehan, who was a different philosopher from Jason Garrett, he was brought in, and he was never a success as a head coach, and he only had a spoonful of success in Minnesota when you had Dante Culpepper and Randy Moss. I could have called plays and been successful with a Randy Moss. You know what I'm saying? So calling the offense that year. So what I'm saying is that we took talent or success from those who had never been successful and expecting these people to be successful. That don't happen in the National Football League, right? So Kellen Moore is still a product of Scott Linehan's tree, and Scott Linehan is a quasi maybe Jason Garrett tree, right? So it's just crazy how we are expecting the results of lifting up that Lombardi Trophy when he didn't come from good trees, or he didn't come from good fruit of his labor. So good stock, basically. Yeah, that's a better way to say it.
Right. Because, you know, a couple of more words that I'm going to get off because I know you got other people waiting. But a couple of more words was the ability to ask the right questions to acquire the knowledge that you need to improve yourself, your situations, and generate success. Kellen was so full of himself, he wasn't asking nothing from Mike McCarthy, who was an offensive head coach that has won Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So he was so full of himself, he didn't even go to the one that was right there with him. He had a library in Mike McCarthy right there, and he was so full of himself because of the position that he held with the Joneses. You know, it's like cutting off your
nose to spite your face.
You know, hand to spite your face.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? And the last thing is being able to be adaptive. If you see something is not working, you're supposed to change things, not continue to do the same thing. And if you see something is working, why would you turn around and stop doing the thing that works?
Because you don't. Because you don't have the experience. You don't have the knowledge, right? Right. You can have the understanding of something, but wisdom beat knowledge all day, right? Wisdom will whoop knowledge up left and right. But you know what wisdom is? Wisdom is the total sum of experiences. And no matter how I say this, you know what I'm saying? And I ain't going to use this as an example. But shoot, you know, you're a whole lot better than what you was, you know. Let me try. I don't want to take the show that way. But you know what I'm saying? It sometimes it takes wisdom and experience. But you're a whole lot better than what you are now than what you were when you was in your teens, right? Or in your early 20s. You know, so that's just how it is. And what I'm saying is, Kellen Moore, he got a head start from anybody because he didn't have to go to the college world to prove that he's worthy. He didn't have to be a qualities control coach to prove that he's worthy, to really sit down and be across from the table to interview with those guys. But I'm quite sure that a lot of people that really looked him in his face, and when he went into those interviews down there in Miami, and they looked at McDaniels, and they said, you know what? Shoot, we're going to go with McDaniels. You know, he outbeat you in the playoff. He outwise you or whiz you in the game, right? So also the same, look, for 2 years back to back, the 49ers defensive coordinator or offensive coordinator got head coaching jobs for beating the Cowboys. Kellen Moore didn't get nothing. Those same jobs that he interviewed for, they interviewed for. Quite strange that they looked at it and said, hey, as brilliant and as wonderful as Kellen Moore is, He needs more experience. We are not finna have him as the head coach because he just don't have the experience. And I've turned down many of people who didn't have the necessary experience, but they got the grades. They got all of the good numbers as it relates to the references and things like that, but they just didn't have the experience. And that's who Kellen Moore is.
Well, can I say one more thing?
Go ahead.
I feel like Kellen Moore, so the first year, was Mike was saying, you call it, you install it, you call it, right?
Right.
The next year, we already knew that there was a whole lot of tension between him and Mike McCarthy. Whole lot of attention. We were already aware of that because of the new media, okay? Which is you guys.
Right.
And so at that point, Helen, I believe that he was trying to prep himself for an exit, either an exit or to take over Mike McCarthy's position. But
right.
He did everything the wrong way. Because, like earlier I said, you don't cut off your nose to spite your face.
Correct.
Because I feel like he did a lot of spiteful things in order to get under Mike McCarthy's skin. And he utilized our season and our team in order to do so. He was trying to make Mike McCarthy look bad, but he actually, helped himself over with his immaturity and his ignorance. Because there is nobody can actually has an explanation as to why Kellen Moore did a lot of the things that he did. That he called.
The conference has been unlocked.
Did when he called them. Nobody can actually explain where his mindset was at when he was doing these things. A lot of it didn't even make sense. And you didn't ever know which coach you was going to get from week to week messing with Kellen Moore.
No doubt. I gotta let my guy in. I appreciate you one way or another, Queen, on this. I appreciate you.
Okay. Thank you, Law.
No doubt. Much love to you. That's my girl Queen right there, and she's spitting some valid points. Wes, what's good?
What's up with you, man? Are you live?
Yeah, I'm live right now, man. I'm about to wrap it up.
All right, man. Hey, man. Shoot, I was just actually calling you to confirm we still doing that interview on Thursday.
Oh yeah.
At 12 p.m. Dallas time, you know what I'm saying, with a Dallas Cowboy wide receiver, you know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to know if we were still on for that on Thursday.
Yeah, man, we still on for it, man. We on and popping for that one, man. I can't wait. I can't wait for that interview. Oh, we got some things to. Oh, and that interview is going to be so great because it goes back and forth with two quarterbacks that we can ask him about, So yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So I'm definitely looking forward to it. You know what I'm saying? Also, we're going to be bringing you guys live content from SportsCon, man. SportsCon, one of the biggest, if not, it's actually the biggest, sports convention out there. Nothing like it. If you know what Comic-Con is, if you know what all these other, trade shows, that are out there, the concept behind that, then you totally understand the concept behind SportsCon. And you got about 200 Dallas Cowboys. One thing, I'm not 200 Dallas Cowboys, but 200 athletes that are going to be in the building. But it's always Cowboy heavy because, one, it's in Dallas. And a lot of people don't know, but this is actually an event that's actually owned by Tony Romo and Ezekiel Elliott. So, which are former Dallas Cowboys. Oh, my God, I just said they're former Dallas Cowboys. That's crazy.
Oh, yeah.
Well, both those guys are former Dallas Cowboys.
Hey, man, SportsCon is going to be. Hey, what time you touched down in Dallas?
Man, I actually touched down Wednesday. I will be actually in Dallas Wednesday at about 6 o'clock. So, man, I'm trying to do some content.
Man, let's meet up, man. Wednesday. Yeah, let's meet up, man, at a location, and we go live together, man. We talk about this, man, and let people know, hey, don't meet us there, beat us there, man. You know what I mean? One of those type of things.
Absolutely, man. As long as there's somewhere that got barbecue, I'm with it, bruh.
All right, let's do that, man.
I'm with it.
Yeah. Wednesday or Thursday. It don't matter. You know, it can go.
Absolutely. Well, shoot, I'm just confirming all parties involved. I'm confirming all parties involved for Thursday. And shoot, man, I'm excited. You know, listen to me, man. The last thing I'll tell y'all is this, man. Like, you guys need to make sure that you really, really show the content creators who got you guys through this 2.5, 3 months, really almost, let's just be real, 5 months of no Cowboys football. Like, our season ended easily almost 5 months ago. You know what I'm saying? But guys like Law Nation, guys like myself, West Coast Cowboy, you know, Henny DeMore, Landlord, Boss Cowboy, James, you know, Sky and Vach, man, these guys, they really helped get us through these next 5 months. So over this last month of July, before your Dallas Cowboys put them helmets on, man, you guys use this last month of July to show these independent content creators who helped y'all get through what we call the black, you know what I'm saying, to get y'all back to football, man. Show that by shares, your super chats, and if they got raffles, man, blow them raffles up. Because I'm going to tell y'all this, man, this offseason was crazy. But thank God we had content creators who help us entertain for these last 6 months. Because guess what, Law? Bruh, in 3 weeks, Cowboys will have helmets on, bruh.
Woo! Can't wait, man. Hey,
Cowboys with helmets on, boy.
Hey, when you get down here, can you bring some of those run the damn ball hats? Yeah, because what I want to do here is also for those that's listening, if they can guess the player that's going to be that we interviewing, the first one, you know what I mean? Let's do a raffle giveaway, man. You know what I'm saying? Brought to you by West Coast and Law Nation, man. Let's give away one of those good old hats, man. Come on.
Man, I got you, man. I got the run the damn ball hats. And, you know, I really tried to push these hats last year, but we didn't really have Mozzie in the middle. But I got these new ones that just fire, man. They got a big old stop sign on the hat, and it just says something real simple. And it says, stop the damn run. Because I'm going to tell y'all this right now. That big old behemoth of a man that from the Big M, Michigan, also known as AKA Monster University. Oh, yeah, he's going to be in the middle this year. So stop the damn run. That's going to be a realistic expectation in 2023. So I'm going to tell y'all this right here before I get up out of here. If we can run the damn ball and we can also stop the damn run, bruh, I don't want to hear nothing about them Eagles, bro. I don't want to hear nothing about nobody in the NFC. You feel me?
No doubt, man.
Gonna be the team to beat.
No doubt, man. And come on out, man. Even if you are a fan of other teams, come on out to SportsCon. I promise you, you won't have a good time. You have a great time. Y'all come on out, man. Yes, indeed. Hey, and these type of events, this is where they supposed to support us at anyhow. You know what I mean? We've been putting in some hard work, and we get some things like this done for the community, man. Come on out, man. Y'all come on out. I promise you will have a great time.
Hey, but I'm below. Listen to me. Law's a very modest person. I love him. But let me reiterate this, man. Listen, when the Cowboys season was over, a lot of us looked at the sky and said, God, what am I going to do? Because the NBA really ain't that entertaining. Baseball is only fun when they hitting home runs. Lord, what am I going to do? And you know what you saw? A notification at the top of your phone that said Law Nation is live. West Coast is live. Boss Cowboy is live. Make sure y'all use these last 2 weeks to show these content creators that you appreciate them for the content that they did and helping us get to this next season, man. Because we here, baby.
Yes, indeed, man. I appreciate you, fam. Thank you for calling in, man. And, you know, we finna have a great time, man. Before SportsCon, we're going to have a pre-show, man. Appreciate you, bro.
Absolutely.
No doubt.
All right, you be blessed, brother.
All the time, man. Anytime. You too. Good call from West Coast, man. And he goes like this: never look down because the star is up. And I do like that concept there, Cowboy Nation. All right, 100 grand, man. I don't know what happened to you, fam, but I got to get out of here, man. I'm gonna let West Coast be the last caller of the day, man. I'm gonna tell y'all this right here. I get it. I understand it. The Cowboys themselves, we didn't live up to the expectations in the last 27 years. I get all of that. But, hey, at the end of the day, we're not finna run away from this. No, we're not finna hide. And we definitely don't throw rocks and hide. We definitely not going to do those things. Not at all. Not at all, Cowboy Nation. And I'm telling y'all right now. Hold on. I can't leave right now. Let me go over those who supported the nation today, and I'm gonna read over y'all super chat. Y'all gotta let me know, man. I'll be forgetting, for real. I'll be forgetting, man. So y'all bear with me while I pull that up. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. Oh no, wrong button. Y'all bear with me. Let me see if I can get to this column here. Y'all bear with me, you know. and still shout out to my dog Lord Brunson, you know. No hate upon what he had to say. I want him to back his team up. I want him to have those strong love and adulation for his quarterback. That's how you're supposed to do it, right? All right, so for the first super chat, we got Mr. Wright Antoine. He says, at this point, I'm proud of Hurts for making it to the big game. We can't take that away from him, right? We got to make it there ourselves, basically. I remember Cowboy Nation say, Hurts not going to be nothing. He ain't lying. You know. And Hurts always been, his comp been Dak Prescott, right? There's a third of the Eagles fan, right? And I don't have to go pull up tape, but take my word for it. They were scoffing. They were mad, throwing things, and they were very upset that the Eagles drafted Jalen Hurts. And it sounds, and it's similar to this right here. There was a third of the Eagles fans scoffing and being mad that the Eagles drafted Donovan McNabb, right? So it's a trend. When they mad at a quarterback being drafted, that quarterback take their team to the Super Bowl, right? He don't win the Super Bowl, but he take them to the Super Bowl. So that is the truth. But we as Cowboy fans, there's a rock that I'm going to stand on, and I don't think nobody going to knock me off that rock. For me, protecting my team, come hell and high water. And I'm not saying that all of you guys should be the same way, but for Doggett, I wish that you guys were, right? All right, so Common Sense Lab, thank you for the $10 super chat. He says there is no debate on who is better. Neither has the same variables. 1,000,000% right with that. So there would never be a comparison. Team success is only thing that separates the two. And this is from his mouth to y'all ears now. You know what I'm saying? That's Common Sense Lab. And when I pull up the evidence, there's no separations of that. One thing I can say, if y'all want me to give him some kudos and credence, I do see that Hurts did make first team All-Pro. That is a very noble stat line for him, right? Dak Prescott been to 2 Pro Bowls. And that is a very subjective deal situation there because I don't view the Pro Bowls as that high as it used to be, right? But when you look at these stats and the information that's presented in front of you guys right now, you may have to zoom in, squint your eyes. No stat line that's overbearing for Jalen Hurts over Dak Prescott. If anything, even if we use the first 3 seasons, right? Even if you use the first 3 seasons, pull the first 3 seasons up, and if you see the first 3 seasons, you can literally say with that stat line, yes, Jalen Hurts is a better runner of the ball than Dak Prescott. I would not argue that. But everything as relates to him dropping back and passing, Dak Prescott owned that stat. And there's no way that you can get in between that, right? So we'll find out whether or not this is something that Jalen Hurts can keep up. But at the same time, based upon those stats, which are facts, not opinions, he got to do it again. Right. This is my guy, JC Cowboy Network. Be sure to find and follow him under JC Cowboy Network. He don't do a good job at all. I believe that brother do a great job. And his film analysis is really good. Check out JC Cowboy for the $4.99 for your mind. Just stopping by to show some love to my guy, Law Nation. Appreciate you, man. Thank you so much for your love. I appreciate you for your support with the Oxnard Fund. You know, appreciate you. And then my guy, we don't wipe them 304s, you know, or he said we don't wipe these 304s. He just super chatted and said, James Washington. Now we can leave. I appreciate all of the super chats. I really do thank y'all so much for help growing the nation. And I appreciate y'all. I literally was going to just stay chill. I wasn't even going to do any content. But some of y'all hit me up and said, hey, Law, you got to talk about this topic. You got to talk about what they saying out here in these community streets, in the NFC streets. They saying that, hey, you're not providing context. They saying that, hey, that the Eagles are far superior. And I come here to tell y'all, as true as it is, me living on this world for over 40 years, I can tell y'all without a shadow of a doubt, every year those Eagles fans been saying that they are better than the Cowboys before 2017. And for those who are diehard Cowboy fans, y'all know every year, man, Eagles got a better quarterback. Eagles McNabb better than Tony Romo. Every year. Oh, every year. Carson Wentz better than Dak Prescott. Their offensive line is better than the Cowboys' offensive line. Their wide receivers better than any wide receiver the Cowboys got. I remember real vividly. Alshon Jefferson. Oh, man, he's better than Dez Bryant, right? Let me know if I'm lying. There's videos out there, right? Oh, man, the running back that they got far superior than any running back that we had. Technically, there were people saying that Miles Sanders was better than Ezekiel Elijah Elliott. He's more explosive. He can do more. He can catch out of the backfield. Every year. Kenneth Gamewell is better than Tony Pollard. Every year. I haven't seen a single year that the Eagles can come out with their pigeon wings, right, and say that the Cowboys are better. But there's one guy that admitted, and by far we showcased that guy. Maybe he will have some breaking news on this show. But before I go, I want you guys to write this down and put this into your mind and your mental fortitude to push you out of your element, to let you know that anything that's in front of you, you can make it happen. You can get it out of the mud. If you want a thing bad enough to go out there and fight for it, to work day and night for it, to give up your time, your peace, and your sleep. If all of your desires of it makes you quite mad enough that you don't get tired of it, and it makes you hold everything tawdry and cheap. If life itself seems empty and useless without it, and all that you scheme and dream is about it, if you will gladly go out there and sweat for it and fret for it and plan, and lose all terror of your mind, if you would simply, just simply go after the thing you want. Jalen Hurts, Rain Dakota Prescott, if dogged and grim and besiege and beset with the help of Almighty Cowboy Nation, you will get it. And roll those credits, baby. Let's go. Appreciate y'all. One love. Let's go.
Give me my thing, you.
Let's get it. Appreciate you, Sadiq. We'll be sponsoring the giveaway. There will be 2 winners raffles beginning on August the 1st through September the 1st. Y'all already know. We going to get rid of one. It's going to be something special. I'm going to announce it on another day. But yeah, let's go, baby. Yeah. Shout out to you, Skywalker. Still my dog. Sadiq. What's good? Make the fire stop.
I've been really
Come on.
in the field, lot of rush, I love
Shout out to y'all, man. Appreciate all of the support.
Don't need no deals, I make the deal. Have to take it to a meal. Lately, I just wanna run it up. Yeah.
Emotional damage.
Come on, baby.
I just wanna run it up. Count that too, count it up.
All right. We gonna run a little more than short, so I gotta get all up out of here.
I need them 5s, need them 10s. I need that change to the same. Got blues inside.
Hey, come on, baby.
But it goes to show you who's a better team
fly, Eagles fly, still Super Bowl champs now.
He's the realest Eagle fan out here, baby. He got to be.
Spartan!
I don't know a realer Eagle fan than him, man. You know, can somebody find me one that's realer than him? Come on. There's none. He's a real Eagle fan, right? He's the one that can tell the truth, right? Let's go.
Hey, bro, come on now.
Don't be mad at the truth, man. He real, man.
Take a drag of my cigarette. Breathe me out, breathe you in.
Yeah, oh my gosh, man, it's too fun.
Yeah. Take a bite of my burger, babe. Save the last bite for you.
Yeah.
For you. Ooh. Don't let the street lights hit you all alone. You know it's dangerous to go alone. Don't let the street lights hit you. Can I be your player too? I'll follow wherever you go, whatever you do. Player too.
All I ask is when you lay your head on that pillow at night. So I gave you everything I had. I gave you everything I had.
7 more and another one.
Hey, when Jalen Hurts dropped back for that Hail Mary at the end of that Super Bowl. Stop the music right there. Stop the music right there.
All I ask is when you lay your head on that pillow at night. You know I gave you everything I had. I
Lay
gave you
your
everything I had.
head on my pillow and just relax.
Oh my God, let me get on up out of here, man. What love to y'all, man. Peace.
All I ask is when you lay your head on that pillow at night. You know I gave you everything I had. I gave you everything I had.
You stupid.
Now, so the cocaine's happening. When does that crack come into play for you?
Like, this motherfucker don't miss.
No, he's good.
That motherfucker don't miss, man.
He's good.
In the heat of battle, he don't miss.
No.
In the heat of controversy, he don't miss.
Be your biggest fan. And when things are really tough and they're really rough and nothing's working, but there's something inside of you that says, I just have to follow that. Because you don't know who you're going to meet, who you're going to meet, who you're going
Somebody do me a huge favor. Screenshot that. Tweet it. Tag me in it.
Because you don't know who you're going to meet. You can't handle the truth.
You stupid.
You must be out of your goddamn mind.
Let's go!
You have to be your biggest fan. And when things are really tough and they're really rough and nothing's working, but there's something inside of you that says, I just have to follow that.